I'm just gonna jump right into it and finish off math and fornication, because that never got done. Now I was thinking, as I always am, that at some point my inability to grasp mathematical concepts became a measure of my intelligence. The fact that I couldn't grasp math made me feel dumb wholesomely as a human being. And I feel like God reminded me, like, you might not be good at math, but you're good at English, you're good at literature, you're good at history, that you can write essays, critical analysis, and get an A easy. Don't bring me your assignments, I charge. But that while knowing that math was important for me to grasp, God had to take me back a little bit and say, you cannot measure the entirety of the function of your brain or your intelligence on one subject. That if you pass math, that's the only time you feel like you're smart. And in the context of sex, sometimes there's a danger of zoning into not fornicating and staying pure. And we think if we grasp that one thing, that kind of makes us more righteous, that kind of makes us more holy. There's something about sexual sin that's viewed as just extra ugly, and it is in some respects. As the Bible says, it's a sin against your own self. So if a robber is stealing from someone else, when you have sex outside of marriage, you're stealing from yourself. It's the same as with someone punching you in the face. When you do it, you're punching yourself in the face. And that's more gruesome because you are devaluing yourself and even spiritually mixing yourself up with people that you shouldn't, harming yourself. And God had to say to me, there are people who don't fornicate who are cruel. The people who don't have sex outside of marriage who are not kind, who beat their wives or who beat their husbands, who sin in so many other ways, but they think if they have managed to stay pure, that's a good enough measure of the pursuit for righteousness. And the danger of having focused on fornication as the definition of my worth as a young girl, as the determinant of my value, was that when you lose it, you lose everything. And I felt God said, you cannot attach your worth and value to anything. You cannot attach your worth to a hymen. I gave you the law to not fornicate, to protect you, not to measure your worthiness. It serves to protect your body, spirit, and mind, but it is not the definition of your worth as a human being. That in as much as you strive to grasp mathematical concepts, and sometimes you fail, you're also good at English and you've managed to have an undergraduate, you're pursuing more studies, even though you're never good at math. That there's a danger of zoning into one sin and trying to get that right, one sin right, and then standing back and saying, I've arrived at holiness and righteousness. That there's so many other things that we have to work on to not feel sinful, to not be sinful. And I felt God was like, that's why the moment you lost it and events culminated, you lost yourself. because you had attached your value to one aspect of something that I require or ask. That my value of you is not measured by that. It's important to me, yes. It's important for you. It serves as a protection mechanism more than anything. But it's not a measure of your worth. And so I had to take steps back and realize, as much as I pursue math, that I was also good at other things. That I was also kind. That I'm not an intentionally cruel person. That I really seek God with my heart and my soul and my mind as much as I fall. And therefore, for the moments that I fall in regards to fornication, that should not determine how I think God perceives me or values me. It's more societal and cultural that places the pressure on women to be pure in relation to their worth. Because if we're really pursuing fornication, not fornicating per the standard of God, then both men and women would be held to it same standard. But it is held to women are held to a higher standard in regards to it as a measure of their worth and their value. But that is not the only determinant of your value as a person. And I'm not saying then go and fornicate as long as you get the other things right. I'm saying seek purity because it protects you. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. But it's not the determinant of your value. That even if you're bad at math like me, you're still smart. I bet you write crazy essays. I bet you're creative. I bet you can lead. I bet you're a leader. That I will still pursue math. But I know I'll come across X and Y axis. And my mind will shut down. And I will probably flunk that section. But I'll pick myself up again and try and learn it again. Because I do it for the obedience of God. And so for the protection of who I am. But not as a measure of my worthiness to God. Not so I can stand with my head high and look at others low who are doing it and say I'm better because I'm closing my legs, because that's not how it works. So I decided I'm gonna take my TSI test again because I just don't feel like going through a semester doing foundational math. I want to jump into my program because there's not much math required there. So I'm still going to put my effort to pass this math test. And then I'm going to also zone into what other things I'm good at and move my focus from trying to fight math and overcome math. I will read, I'll study, I'll pass it, and I will look to the other side and figure out what other things I can do that would make me a better person, a better human being. A better person in the standards of God. That by the time I'm done, I will still graduate. And the fact that I would have graduated would mean my brain is fully functional and that my intelligence was never, ever reliant on my inability to grasp mathematical concepts. My name is Tendai Taruvinga. I'm signing out.